we're off to a lovely start. Hi, hello, and welcome, beautiful book lovers. My name is Karina, and welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to share a few of my fantasy recommendations, my go-to fantasy books I love, books maybe you haven't heard about, or just need a little more convincing to pick up, because some have been around for a while, so I'm going to do my best to get you to pick one of these up. Okay? The very first book I want to talk about is one of my absolute favorite books. I say this is my favorite book of all time, but it just differs, as a mood reader, it changes constantly, it feels like, but this is definitely a staple that I will shout from the rooftops about any chance I get. And that book is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This is the very stunning Barnes & Noble edition with the very pretty edges to match the cover, and I'm just obsessed. But this book follows Linus Baker, who is a social worker in this world, who is tasked to go to this house with magical children that no one wants to adopt. They're kind of the unwanted kids, which is so sad to say, but he's tasked to go there and report on the 6 children that reside there. It is said that they are destined to bring about the end of days, so his task is to go to this house and report his findings back to the company that he works with. The thing I love about this book is the found family aspect. I will love a found family every single time. There's just something beautiful about a lone wolf that finds their place of belonging, their family, their circle of people that just loves them and accepts them for who they are. And this book, it means so much to me in so many ways. I won't go into those details just yet, but it's just so beautiful seeing Linus accept the children and get to know them for who they are instead of the monsters that they are perceived to be. And maybe he finds a little bit of a love connection along the way, and it's just so beautiful. It's just one of my all-time favorites, and TJ Klune in general really exemplifies the found family trope. If you love any of his books, if you have been interested in any of them, I definitely recommend starting here, because there is a sequel scheduled to release later this year. So definitely check this one out. If you do, please let me know all your thoughts, because this one is one I hold very near and dear to my heart. The next book I'm going to talk about is the book and series that really got me back into reading as an adult, so I always have a special place for it, and that is A Darker Shade of Magic, or the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. So in this story, we are following our main character, 𝐜𝐭. He is the last of his kind, known as an amari, which allows him to travel between parallel Londons. Because of this special power that he has, he is tasked to be the messenger and advocate of sorts for the London that he resides, able to travel between the worlds to deliver correspondence and things of that nature between the different London empires. Not only is he able to travel between worlds, but he has a very forbidden hobby that he likes to do, which is take different artifacts from the different worlds back to his place of residence. And he kind of has a little man cave with all of the treasures he brings back to his home. He retrieves a relic from Black London that has since been dissolved due to the greed and magic-hungry world that Black London was known as. As he is tracked down and found to have this relic, he is forced to escape to a different London, which is known as Grey London, has very, very little magic. And while he's there, he is not only robbed, but is forced to bring the smuggler that accosted him back to his London so that she can live the rest of her days on an adventure. And thus begins our story with 𝐜𝐭 and the smuggler Lila. And I just love this story so much. I think the magic system is so different and unique and is so easy to follow if you are a beginner to fantasy. I would recommend picking this up if fantasy isn't your go-to genre, but it's something that you'd like to try out. This is definitely a good place for you to start. The next series I'd like to talk about is the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. So in this series, Jade is a magical property that enhances one's ability in battle, and basically they're fighting skills. So in this world, there are two rival clans vying for control over the island of 𝐜𝐭, is the bustling capital of this world. If you rule Jade, you rule the city. So we do follow two clans basically trying to gain control of the island of 𝐜𝐭. This is a great place to start if you are new to the fantasy genre because it is an urban fantasy. So it does take place in our modern world with some mystical elements woven in. This series has such amazing fight scenes because Fonda herself is a black belt, so I think that's amazing. She shows her knowledge in that area by putting that into her fight scenes in her book, and I just love it so much. Give this one a try if you are new to the fantasy genre or are looking for something a little different than the typical fantasy books. The next book I'm going to be talking to you about is called The Witchery by S. Isabelle. It is a debut novel by the author, which I think is amazing given how much I loved it. So in this book, we are following a squad of witches that attend a academy for witches to learn how to control their abilities. And every year in this fantastical town, a haunting happens, which basically means wolves ascend on the town and cause havoc, wreak terror, and all the bad things that you don't want to happen in a book or in your town. Actually, I loved it so much. This is a book that I don't hear anyone, if at all, talk about, which is a shame because it has amazing queer representation. There is a sapphic relationship that starts to blossom towards the end, which I thought was cute. I don't read a lot of YA, so this really stood out to me because the writing itself was so beautiful. It had dark magic, it had bewitching prose. It was just a really great story that I hope more people pick up and discover because I definitely think it deserves more love. The next book I'm going to be recommending is a dark fantasy romance that I just adore with all my heart, and that is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. So this story follows Signa Farrow, who was orphaned as a baby and raised by various guardians throughout her life, who have all met a very untimely death. So at the age of 19, in the current day, she is sent to go live with her family. That is a bit eccentric, a bit strange all the way around. So the father is dealing with grief from losing his wife, and the eldest son is tasked to kind of revive the reputation that they have around town. The daughter of the family is facing a mysterious illness, so Signa takes it upon herself to kind of dig into that and find what's going on there. And there is a murder mystery that's taking place when the mother's spirit makes herself known to Signa. She realizes that something more sinister is at play, so we essentially follow Signa as she tries to unravel the mystery of the mother's death, and she is forced to make an alliance with Death himself. And Death, I never thought I would say this, but Death is definitely a book boyfriend that you'll want to get to know. That's all I'm going to say. But very beautiful writing, very lush storytelling. So I hope you give this one a try yourself. All right, so switching gears a little bit, we are going to be talking about a middle grade story that I absolutely love. Even if you don't dive into the middle grade genre often, I think this one might change your mind. But that is the beloved Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This book follows Amari as she is whisked away to a magical school where she learns about the magic system and a very underground magical world where her brother had went missing. So she is trying to uncover where her brother had gone to and kind of do her own investigation into his disappearance. So that was a nice little mystery plotline there, but I also loved learning about the different aspects of magic in this world. There's just so many fun there's so many fun elements in here that I want you to be able to uncover yourself. I just had such a good time with this, especially on a reread, and I think if you aren't a middle grade reader necessarily, middle grade is meant to be enjoyed at any age. I think middle grade novels are fantastic and really allow us to touch on that childlike wonder, that whimsy that we don't get in any other genre. And I think if you might not be a middle grade reader, this just might change your mind because it is just fantastic, and I hope you give this one a try. The next book I'm going to be talking about is an urban fantasy and start to a series that was released back in 2021. So I don't hear very many people talk about it, but the book I'm going to be telling you about is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. So in this world, there are 8 courts among the folk who are bound by law to do no harm to humans. That peace is shattered once a string of ritualistic murders rocks the world to its core. We have 4 POVs that we follow as they uncover the root of the murders and have to salvage the peace among the Fae and human worlds. And I absolutely love this. There is amazing queer representation in here. There is a great fantasy system. I would say this is not completely beginner friendly due to the magical elements, but is definitely not hard to follow by any means. It is worth checking out if you are a fan of the Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas. Check this out because I think you are going to love it. The very last book I'm going to be recommending to you is a more recent read of mine. It is a story that I absolutely love and adore, and I am just ready for a reread at any given moment, if I'm honest. And that is Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. This is such a beautiful story that follows Tana, who is a witch, and she is already betrothed to marry the governor's son to keep peace and form an alliance between the witches and the mainlanders. During every full moon, the witches release their powers into the ocean to appease all those who fear them and their powers. And one night, Tana misses that ritual and has no one to turn to until she meets Wolf. Wolf is someone that practices dark magic in this world, which is basically magic that is different from what Tana has been taught all her life. Meeting Wolf opens Tana's eyes to the magic that is known as dark magic and all the different ways that it is helpful instead of hurtful to the environment and to this world itself. So Wolf basically turns Tana's life upside down with all the knowledge that he teaches her, and there is even a little bit of romance in here, but it's so beautiful. It's stunning. Rachel Griffin's writing is just fantastic. I can't say enough good things, but I am just so ready to pick this one back up so I can finish annotating. I did annotate a little bit, but there's just so much to uncover, and I just hope you give this one a try whenever you need something a little bit fantastical, a little bit witchy, and even has a little bit of romance in it. All right, my book loving friends, those are the fantasy books that I had to share with you today. I hope I was able to inspire you to try any of them out. Please let me know if you decide to do so. I'd love to hear all your thoughts if you've read any of these, and I'm just so appreciative of you for being here, for hanging out with me. I hope you have an amazing day, amazing night, amazing dawn, whatever time of day you are watching this. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you in my next video. Until next time.